Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Intel X3 Masters World Championship! I'm EFU Shock supporter, and I don't know if you guys can feel it at home, but I think you can. The crowd is absolutely amazing because today we have the finals of our League of Legends tournament coming up between the KT Rolster Bullets and Fnatic. But before we get to that, there's someone we need to mention because you guys at home have been voting for the MVP of the Intel X3 Masters here in Katowice. To give out the prize, first up, I'd like to ask the Intel representative Mark Irvin to the stage to help me out. All right, you guys at home have voted for the MVP of this tournament. He's a player from Gambit Gaming. Your most valuable player for the Intel X3 Masters Katowice, it is Genja. Have the prizes right here. Congratulations, Genja. Is there anything you want to say to this awesome crowd?
Thank you, Zesparcha. Thank you all guys for supporting me and my team. Gambit Gaming.
Your MVP, Genja. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. But now, it is time for the moment that we've been waiting for, the grand final of the Intel X3 Masters in Katowice between the KT Rolster Bullets and Fnatic. Before we get to that, before we see the players, let's take a look at how they got to the finals. They made history here last year, and they're back this year, and they want to win it all.
In this stadium, Fnatic is potentially that team.
There we go, though. We are going to see the calling coming out. Actually, Soas diving into the middle of them as well. What a barrel this time from Peke. Gets the shutdown, but have they got the damage to finish everyone out? Creaton is focused at the back. Double kill for ex-Peke. The turret goes down, and Fnatic are going to move in on towards the Nexus. They stay alive in the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship.
He just gets dropped and melted. Reckless picks up a kill, gets himself a double. Illusion running away, has got the Zhonya's, but that's all he's going to get because Fnatic just muller the IG team, and it's going to be Fnatic that can just run through the base and take victory. And Reckless fancies it. He goes in, flashes for it. This goes straight on towards Sneaky. The shockwave does enough. Reckless getting taken low, but he gets himself another kill and another kill.
Now we're standing in the final. Now we're going to win.
He gets pretty low. Can they get on top of it? There's the dive in. They get the kill on C-Time. And there is the Baron going down. In favor, though, of IG, but the kills raining in here for the KT Bullets.
I think everyone's favorites for this tournament were probably KT Bullets.
Bullets seem very reactive. They play different compositions in different ways and successful.
You can't do anything. Now they go on towards Diamond. There's the taunt. Rest of the team going to join in. This is an absolute massacre. There is Leopard, spotted by it. They're going to use the talisman. They're going for this one. Leopard is going to be chased by Gambit. They don't have time. They can't do that. They cannot go for Leopard. They're trying to recall right now, but they're going in for the Nexus turrets. Can you believe it? The KT Bullets go straight through into the base. Genja comes down as well, but the Nexus goes down. Oh my God! Can you believe it?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to meet the teams for our grand final. First up, on the blue side, fighting their way back from the lower bracket and yesterday beating out Cloud9 to make it to the finals. Ladies and gentlemen, Fnatic! And then on the red side, they are undefeated so far in the tournament. Can they keep it up? Ladies and gentlemen, the KT Rolster Bullets. We've got our two teams ready. I think they're pretty nervous. I think we're all pretty nervous. It's going to be an amazing final. So let's kick things over to our analysts to get things started.
Thank you very much, Shocks, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, the grand final game between Fnatic and the KT Rolster Bullets. My name is Quickshot, and I am joined by Crepo and Frog. And guys, welcome to the desk. Let's kick this one off and immediately say, what is our gut feeling about this game as we go into the head-to-head? Who do you feel has the advantage and why?
Well, first of all, I think it's just going to be a really good set of games. Obviously, the Bullets have somewhat of an advantage. I think everybody has that opinion almost.
Just listen to that crowd. We know who the crowd's voting for.
Yeah, that's a weird way to pronounce the Bullets, but it works for Poland. Anyways, Fnatic, they look strong. They're getting stronger, but the Bullets were already strong. And while they did look shaky, I think they have the edge, but there's definite chance that Fnatic takes it away now.
Yeah, I think we also have to mention KT Bullets, they are undefeated in this tournament so far. It is a huge factor. They didn't care about the LeBlanc pick from Alex yesterday. They had a strategy planned for it.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a look at the bracket very quickly before we start to break down the specific strengths and weaknesses of these teams. So on the bracket, you'll notice the two semi-finals. KT Bullets taking down Gambit yesterday 2-0 in one hell of a series. It was very dramatic and very exciting. Fnatic versus Cloud9 in the bottom of the bracket. That was our first semi-final. And Fnatic, while they beat Cloud9, it was far from convincing. They really had to work hard. So let's very briefly talk about each of those series, starting with Fnatic versus Cloud9. Do feel that Fnatic, as we've said, they have been improving over the course of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, but they have had numerous mistakes at different points, and each individual member has not necessarily shone in every single game. You know, when somebody's underperforming, somebody else does step up. What's your take on Fnatic, Froggen?
I think at the start of the tournament, they didn't look too strong in their solo lanes, and then against Cloud9, especially Peck has stepped up. He killed High 1-on-1. I think that's a huge factor because he needs to be able to lane against Ryut for them to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, I talked to them earlier today, and they definitely know their mistakes. They already know that game 2 was, that composition didn't really work out for them, so they were aware of that. I like the way they react whenever somebody gets picked on, like whenever somebody gets collapsed on, the entire team collapses. And I talked to Reckles earlier, and the first thing he said was like, I ran from bot to top, and halfway I was doubting if my team was going to be dead by the time I get there, but I did it anyways. And we saw the Bullets running a lot of picks yesterday with that Kha'Zix trying to snipe people down. If Fnatic can collapse in time, maybe they can get those turnaround kills again in turn, but it's going to be very hard because the Bullets snipe a little more efficiently than Cloud9 did.
So the Bullets now, let's talk about some of their strengths and weaknesses, because what we have seen is the two games that really come to mind as far as tough games for KT Bullets include IG during the group stage. IG came out swinging, got 3 early towers, was very aggressive with that Yasuo-Wukong combo, and it seemed to make KT Bullets flustered, but IG didn't know how to press their advantage, and we've seen the same thing again yesterday against Gambit. In the second game in the series where Gambit were down, they were behind, and they kept getting in KT Bullets' face over and over and over. And during the winners' interview, they even said, look, we didn't think we could win fights. So that's why we went for the backdoor. Do you think aggression is a weakness, or dealing with aggression is a weakness for KT Bullets? Or do you think it was just that game, just the decisions, just the unique circumstances?
I mean, that one game against IG, They just fell behind against such a good composition, but they scaled back in with efficient item choices. So I really liked what they did there. Then again, I can't commend them on all their item choices because yesterday we had a double tenacity on Insect, so either he wasn't taking them serious or he just forgot. Or I don't think he forgot. There must have been a reason.
Maybe he builds Elder Lizard all the time.
Yeah, I'm not really sure there, but they know how to identify what the weakness is of an enemy composition and build correctly against it. We saw that in picks and bans already. They had a few right answers. So strategy-wise, they're good. On the point of aggression, I think they can deal with it. They just need to react properly, and they've shown that they can react. Sure, they slip up sometimes. They're just not playing 100% solid, and that shows in all their aspects. They just slip up here and there.
Yeah, I think they like to play somewhat passive in the laning phase and wait for the jungle to get somewhat strong, and then gank somewhere, get objectives because of that, get some wards up early, and if they don't fall too far behind against maybe some early aggression picks from coming out of Fnatic, then I think they will do fine.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Fnatic gets their hands on. For you guys at home, let's once again just remind you of all the players that are taking part here today. Starting with the blue team in this grand final best of 5, it is Fnatic. And of course, everybody in this venue knows their names already. SOAS, Cyanide, Xpeke, Reckless, and Yellowstar. You have to feel they are a little bit of the underdogs coming into this one. The players are joining the lobby right now, so we should be in picks and bans in the not too distant future. Over on the other side of the rift, it is of course going to be the KT Rolster Bullets, with Leopard in the top lane, Insec in the jungle, Ryu as your mid lane, and Score and Muffa as your AD carry and your support. Something we have been doing all weekend long, and I do just want to remind you guys once more, is of all the social media. Facebook.com/IEM. Use that hashtag IEM if you are on Twitter, and head over to eslgaming.com. Just start chiming in for some votes. I believe most of our polls are wrapped up as we are in the final series of the weekend, but we do have the poll, the public opinion, and the team that you guys voted to come out on top is potentially the underdogs, and with 69% of the vote, it is Fnatic. Now, I do feel this is a little bit of Western bias. I do think this is something that we've seen
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly. What does Fnatic have to do right to beat the KT Bullets? Short, punchy. Like, what do you think?
Pick correctly, play aggressive.
Yeah, don't mess up in pick and bans. I think that's where they really have to focus, because KTB has some really strong, they've done their research and they have really strong pick and ban phase.
Well, we'll have to see how that works out. We're about 2 minutes out from actually getting into the very first game in this best of 5. Let's look at KT Bullets once more. This is a team that we didn't really know what to expect coming into the tournament, and they have impressed. They haven't dropped a single game. On their way here, they took down Millennium, IG, and Gambit. They haven't dropped the map, and even the games where they were a little bit behind or under pressure, they found a way to win. What is their strengths? What is it that you think stands out the most from the 4 games that we've seen of KT Bullets?
I think they're really good at picking their fights. It's rare they actually go into a fight where they will where they have the disadvantage. I think it's only if they actually have a teamfight combo that's countered by another teamfight combo where they're not doing so well. Like you saw it yesterday against Gambit. They had the Kha'Zix to shut down the Kassadin, and once the Kha'Zix got Guardian Angel, it was extremely hard to deal with.
Yeah, I just think that their prime is their intelligence, and that shows in multiple parts of the game, rather. Both in pick and bans and just in-game as well. They make good decisions, good rotations. They're one of the few teams that still looks for a lot of picks in between lanes and just tries to pick people off instead of just focusing on those objectives. And I was really impressed what Insect did on Kha'Zix, and I think that's really strong, and I think Fnatic should know that and probably ban that out.
Well, I'm happy you actually said that. That's a nice natural segue to what I was about to ask you guys. We are going to be starting with Fnatic on the blue side, with KT Bullets on the red side. What are some of the priority picks? Let's get 2 or 3 names out there. I immediately want to ask about Lulu. We've seen SOAS running it for Fnatic. We have not seen Xpeke play Lulu in that mid lane, and it's something that we haven't seen at all. Over on the other side, KT Bullets, we have seen that Lulu mid. So outside of that, and the Kha'Zix you've already mentioned, maybe Cyanide's Elise, what are the priority picks do you think these teams should consider?
I think purple side, if you're purple side, you have the Kassadin option. The Kassadin on blue side, I'm not too sure about, because you can always counter it with some. You have seen Kha'Zix, you have seen Talon, maybe even Painfin is a good counter to it, because Kassadin doesn't necessarily have the damage anymore after the nerf, at least in the laning phase, to actually deal with those assassins, so he has to use the ultimate defensively. But on purple side, I think it's a really good pick. And since Fnatic is blue side, we haven't seen Xpeke on Lulu yet, and I think that's gonna hurt them if he actually can't play Lulu.
At the same time, yeah, the Kassadin, on that point though, we have to point out yesterday, Ryu tie-farmed Alex H in the early laning phase, but watching those games, we saw a few mistakes coming out of Alex H. He had about 2 chances to kill the Kassadin and really snowball the lane. Later though, Alex picked up his game again, a really impressive performance. So we didn't really get a good indication of how far a Kassadin can actually fall behind. He did a lot of work in that game, Ryu on Kassadin, but that's because he got his laning phase, I wouldn't say for free, but at a much less of a cost. So I initially was planning on seeing Kassadin banned, but I think what Froggen says makes sense. He can get counterpicked. The thing is, do you want to counterpick a Kassadin at Katowice in the finals?
It's going to be tough.
Sure.
I mean, yesterday, backdoor already happened. Now, final thoughts before we head over to the caster desk. Who do you think is going to win the overall series? Which team is it going to be, Crepo?
The Bullets, 3-1.
Bullets 3-1?
I'm gonna have to cheer for EU. It's gonna be Fnatic.
Fnatic. So once again, split decision here on the desk. Ladies and gentlemen, your casters for the grand final here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Joe, don't call me Joe Miller, the